Hello everyone and welcome to a new video from Your Overwatch. I'm Eddie the Chump and today we'll be doing a quick summary of 5 of the most needed fixes and buffs as we see it in Overwatch. Now let's be clear, we think the game is in a very healthy state right now, the best it's ever been. But there are still some niggling kinks that need to be ironed out to make the game as good as it can be. So with that said, let's get straight into it. Play of the game. Oh mercy, you really don't like sharing the limelight, do you? We all know this is a problem. How the game currently calculates play of the game is flawed. So much so that if Mercy gets a res of 3 or more heroes, she is almost guaranteed to receive play of the game. Now a massive res is a play of exceptionally high value, but however they code the parameters of selecting play of the game is obviously flawed and in some need of tuning. It's more for community interest and hype than anything else. Overwatch is a game of such huge playmaking potential, it does it a disservice to not highlight all the characters' playmaking ability where appropriate. People become disinterested if it's the same thing all the time. Thankfully Blizzard have said they're looking into it, so hopefully this fix arrives soon. Roadhog's Hook. Right, so this one is particularly frustrating. Many Roadhog players know it intimately, and that's the performance of Roadhog's Hook when performed at very close range. So what happens now is that when Roadhog hooks an opponent at very close range, the game actually moves the target further away than when they were hooked. Now here's the reason why this is a problem. In the middle of a dense fight or in an emergency, not knowing the exact distance or placement of the enemy you've hooked can make a massive difference. Say you hook an ulting Genji from very close range. Well, the unpredictability in knowing where he will end up can rob you of a potentially massive play. Most of Roadhog's value is in nullifying key targets of large value, be that a healer playing too close or casually drifting out with the protection of a Rhine shield, or saving your team from potential massive damage like a Dragon Blade or Death Blossom. Any unsurety can result in a missed frag and a potentially devastating teamfight loss. This is a game of very fine margins, so to have a mechanic this unpredictable based on range and terrain is something that doesn't sit well with me and needs addressing. I do however understand that fixing it might have a more complicated and compromised solution, but I personally would welcome any attempts, as it stands now, this is a very frustrating and unnecessary mechanic. Demos and replay tools. Okay, so why do we want these? Well, the answer is fairly simple and I'll use another game as an example. In CSGO, it's possible to review your games by watching a demo file. This demo contains every bit of data, every play, every timing. You can also view it from any perspective, making analysis of one's mistakes and good plays much easier. But the real bonus to the CSGO system is that you can watch demos of other people's games too. So pro matches, scrims, and all other manner of high-level play you could want to learn from. A similar system is in Street Fighter V and is something I personally used to learn optimized combos, attack timings, spacings, etc. In short, demos or a sophisticated replay system are the best learning tools available and would go a long way in helping the community understand the game a lot more. Blizzard have said they're looking into this, so let's cross our fingers that it's soon. Widowmaker. Well, this one's a doozy and almost guaranteed to be divisive. I think Widow in her current state is an almost certain unoptimized pick. She simply does not have the utility to be picked with any real justification anymore. Let's evaluate first the problems with her that got her nerfed in the first place. One of the biggest ones was body shot damage. Widow got a major damage nerf to full charge body shots. Why was this done? It was implemented so she couldn't one-shot a Tracer or Zenyatta to the body. Well, Zen got buffed to 200 effective HP, so that's no longer a problem, and Tracer and Mini D.Va remain the only heroes that she could one-shot with the old damage model. But the game doesn't play like release meta anymore, not even remotely. Static defenses are utterly destroyed by diving comps now. D.Va got a buff, Winston can thoroughly handle even a good Widow with relative ease, and Genji was always still a bit of a problem for her. My point is that damage, her entire purpose and the only reason you take her, isn't actually as overpowering as you might think it is. Widow's true problem is that she's incredibly susceptible to being dove by highly mobile heroes. She's not alone. That style of play is very meta now, especially at the pro level. She has a hook shot, but its cooldown is frankly ridiculously impractical for how the game currently plays. Think of it this way, even if her damage was straight up ridiculous to the body, the counter to it is so easily done that it arguably wouldn't matter anymore. Her ultimate has less use now that there isn't any surprise element to it. All in all, she's too static, can't leverage her damage frequently enough, and offers very little to her team in terms of value. She's one of the highest mechanical skill characters in the game, who gets the least value for how hard she is to play. Even Hanzo offers better value to a team, and I say that with an almost comical amount of contempt. Please Hanzo responsibly. She needs a rebalance, and hopefully sooner rather than later. MMR rewards and penalties need a bit of tweaking. Right, so you remember the time when certain healers and other heroes had incorrect placings and point rewards due to the inaccuracy of their MMR, which in turn was based on personal performance during a win? No? Well, let me paint you a picture. You play a support, namely Mercy and Lucio, you get less points for a win in competitive compared to your DPS or tank teammates, and this still happens in Season 2. Why does it happen? Well, the amount of points you get is awarded based on criteria of how well you played and is tracked during the game. How the game measures how well you're playing isn't made known to us, and even if it was, that could possibly lead to people playing for MMR stats instead of making the in-game decisions to win the game. Nobody wants to get shafted for points, so why play support? This is why you'll often see comps with 3 or 4 DPS playing completely for themselves. The game actually rewards that playstyle if your team happens to win, which, because most people of a certain rank are also doing the same thing, is just as likely as playing quote-unquote meta correct. This individually tailored MMR point system arguably makes the game worse, and it leaves people who pick support in a desperate attempt to have any shred of a decent comp suffering. So either remove the individual performance-based reward system, as this is predominantly a team game anyway, or weight support classes more favourably, essentially make it easier for them to get the same points as a DPS if not more. If the game itself won't reward you for playing properly, why would you volunteer to do so? I hope you liked the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a rating. If you want us to cover anything specific, please don't hesitate to leave it in the comment section below. I've been Eddie the Chump, and until next time!